Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to set up an update functionality using a condition step, making sure that whenever you want to update something or provide your customers or users with a quick and easy update functionality, that you do check for the validation of the feature. Is it okay to update this data without checking it manually? So let's dive right into it. So first things first, make sure that you have some data available that can use an update with a single step, such as a status update. In this case, I have a project with a status available, and I have a overview on which I am showing some projects with a date and a status. What I would like to add is a button, when pressed, that the status goes from to do to in progress. But I only want this to happen whenever the button or whenever the status is to do. I don't want a status to update to in progress once the project is already done. So first, I'm going to add a data table column in which we can add the button. I'm simply going to do this by duplicating the data table column, removing the existing property over there, and I'm going to add an action button to this column. This will be the update button. So I'm going to rename it, call it start project, so that we know that we can start this project. After this, we can even make a new button to also finalize the project, but this is just for starting it and checking its validation. And then we need to provide this action button with some information to provide to the action. So start project, and here we have pass value to action. I'm going to pass the ID from the project to my action. There we go. So I'm going to pass the project ID to the action, and I'm going to open up the action. So between the start and the finish, we would like certain things to happen. First off, we want the project to be updated, but we also want to make sure that we check it. However, there are some things that we need to keep in mind. Also, who is going to press that button? Well, us as a user. So first things first, dive into the settings, make sure that we give it a proper name, update project to in progress. And we need to check in permissions, because as it says right now, no one will be able to trigger this action. So make sure to have the authentication profile set properly to the profile that you use to log into your application or authentication with. So in this case, it is the BettyBlocks account, and me as an admin, I would like to be allowed to perform this action. So I'm pressing yes, save. Okay, then we're going to check what is the information that we retrieve from our other page. We've said that we are retrieving our ID, so we're going to add the object with the name ID. This will automatically connect it to our project. So I'm going to call it ID. There we go. Variable created successfully, and now we can get started. So let's first set up that update record. Update, select variable, ID, there we go. Now we can say, you know what, we have a status, and the new status should be in progress. So this should be an updated project. There we go. Press save, and it will be ready. However, what if that the status of that project is in progress already, or what if it's done? Pressing this button will mean that it will automatically go back to in progress. We don't want that to happen. So this is where the flow step condition comes in. So we can drag it in front of our update record. And here we have a path. Something happens and otherwise something else happens. So let's open up and see what it happens. And we can set up the filter rule. So let's see. What we want to check is that the initial status of the project needs to be to do. Otherwise, we're not updating the project. So ID, which is our project, status equals to do. So if the status is equal to do, it will do left. Otherwise, it will do else. Well, we've already created our update record. Make sure to press save for the condition step. Path 1 will be true. We can also call it true to make more sense for us. And now we can say, okay, if true, if the condition we set, if the filter is true, we update the record. And then we finish, we're done with updating. So let's have a look and see what it looks like in our front end. So we have a button that we are allowed to press, and it should update the status of any starting project to in progress. Let's open up our page. Here we go. Now let's have a look. First, press the button, see if it's successful, start project, refresh the page, and as you can see, the status is now set to in progress. So that's very nice. We can also press that button again, refresh the page, and nothing has happened. Let's do it with the second project. To do, start project, refresh the page, and it is set to in progress. If you want to set this up more dynamically, more smooth, check out our other video on page interactions, because after this action has successfully triggered, we can refetch our data table and make sure that this automatically updates. Now let's also go back a little and make sure that we update the status to done. Press send. Okay, it's done. Go back to the home page. So now it's done. Just a final check to make sure that it doesn't update to in progress again. Start project, refetch the page, and nothing happens. So now we know how to set up a little update action together with a condition. These conditions are very important because they help you check and filter out a lot of data. Maybe someone is trying to create their account again, hey, I'm signing up to your services and I'm using my email address, but I have already used this email address. You can send them back a message saying like, hey, error, we cannot sign you up. You've already used this email address. It is important to keep your database clean. It is important to keep everything nice and secure. And well, you can really filter the data that you want in your application and that you don't want in your application. So make sure to keep an eye out for those condition steps and to properly put them in place. Good luck.